Oh, we got a game day.
Thank God.
National Hockey League set to resume action tonight. And no one's more excited than the three of us. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. It's the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 590, The Fan in Toronto, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. Also available Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. James Wilson, Derek Brandale along, helping us get 2 hours jam-packed.
Good.
We good?
We're good. Ready to go. I'm legitimately very excited. The Leafs are back.
Very excited.
Very excited, yes. I really enjoy watching the Leafs hockey.
I would say that I was looking forward to the sort of quote-unquote break, in which didn't feel like a break other than those shows that we took off right before the Olympics started, because it felt more intense most of the time. But, you know, I was looking forward to having some evenings off and not doing Leafs talk, and then kind of realizing that I'm just nothing, like a brutal guy. Like I have no plans. I have no life. Like I don't do anything. Like I've been in bed by 9:45.
Gotta realize I'm a brutal guy.
9:45 most nights. I'm like, well, guess it's time to just go to bed.
There's a Seinfeld episode where they're at the coffee shop and Kramer's just looking at George going, "You got a job? You know, you got any prospects? You seeing anybody?" He's like, No.
There's a Jerry and George there too. He goes, what is this? What is this?
Well, I get up and get the daily news.
Yeah.
Is that you, Sammy?
What I'm saying is I'm pretty worthless without sports. Yeah. I really don't have a whole lot going on outside of my lovely wife.
We love you even without sports.
Just on a general question, like whether you've been lying on a beach for 3 weeks or Austin Matthews coming back to play for the Leafs tonight, like what do we expect out of the gate tonight?
Dog's breakfast.
The National Hockey League.
Yeah, the first week or two of the season where there's like defensive breakdowns and guys are fresh, so the game looks fast, the scoring is up. I would say reasonable to anticipate something like that. A lot of fresh legs, a lot of mistakes. Does that seem reasonable?
And the best players all hung over?
Yeah. It looked like an AHL game, probably.
Yeah.
8 games on tap tonight. A few players, notable players. Jack Hughes is expected to play for New Jersey against Buffalo. I think Austin made it pretty clear last night, jumping on a plane that the Leafs happily had, like, started up on the runway the moment he was done at the White House.
They were waiting for him, were they?
Oh, they were waiting for him. Oh, yeah. Yep. Get down here.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
Fast as you can.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's what you would expect, right? Be
Oh,
there
yeah, for
him,
sure.
Get him home.
Absolutely. And he spoke today, did he not?
He did. So fascinating looking around the NHL because Matthews I think everyone is playing who their teams want them to play. Vegas, we mentioned yesterday, their guys, they just said, don't bother. 5 of them, 3 Canadians, 2 Americans. I think they said, just rest up. We don't need you guys to come in and be terrible for a day. And I love that. I wish the Leafs had that luxury. They don't. But that's great that they're able to do that. You fine with that? The guys in Vegas not having to play?
Listen, for me, whatever. You've spent 50 games putting yourself in a position where if you lose, it's not that big of a deal. Big picture, I don't know. I mean, did someone buy a ticket expecting to see Mitch Marner play?
They're in Los Angeles
Right.
tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
They are the road team.
Colorado, but their coach won't reveal who's playing tonight. He says, yeah, maybe some of the players will play, but does somebody go and expect to see Nate McKinnon tonight?
Michael Amato, Sportsnet writer of ours, had a good point today on Twitter where he basically said that, like, these guys, the season starts 8 or 9 days before the actual hockey event, and then it ends, and these guys were, flying across the country and asked to play the next day. Could we shift this whole thing a day or two back? Give them another day or two on this side of things? Wouldn't that make more sense? Get a skate together with them back? I don't know. I know the break felt very long, but maybe they just a little less time before the games.
And
I mean, the Olympics, they have it very, their schedule every year is just like the exact same thing. Like it's dialed in when this starts, at what point of the Olympics. So maybe it's, I don't know, screwing with tradition, but you're right. Michael's right.
They're struggling.
Could shift it a touch.
Give them another day.
And some coaches have the luxury of easing back into the lineup. And then there's Craig Berube, who everything points in the direction of like, we're in it to win it here, guys.
Well, and let's
right?
do
We're not mailing it in, and we want to get back in a playoff race, and he's going to be all over them in the first period.
Yeah, so let's do a refresher for the people at home at how we got here. And it was that they played very well for a stretch, and it was starting to feel like they were a playoff team. Then they lost 8 of 9 games. Remember we had that tough patch where like, boy, the schedule's rough. We'll see how they do. They got filled in.
The history lesson was they came back from that road trip where it was a bit of a sketchy road trip, wobbly, but at the end of it, they find a way to rally in the third period against the Jets, and they win. They get 5 of possible 8. Remember we talked, we're like, oh my God, they finally got the 5 of possible 8.
Trip got 5 of 8.
Coming home, and it was the Wild, the Red Wings, the Golden Knights, Colorado, and Buffalo to finish it off, and they got 1 point out of that, right?
Yeah, got killed. So they lost a ton of games on that stretch, and then right when I wrote an article, it said they should just try to tank to the bottom. They won the last 3 games. They swept their last 3 to kind of give them this little breath of hope. So that's where things sit tonight. The Tampa Bay Lightning, if you're not following, you don't remember where they were at, they went 19-1-1 in their last 21 games.
Including ending on a 6-game winning streak, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, they won pretty much all of them except that one time in the last 21 games. Over their last 21 games, first in the league in record, goals per game, goals against per game, differential, power play percentage.
Won't have John Cooper behind the bench tonight. Very sad. His father passed away, so I mean he didn't let on anything when he was over there. Probably coaching through some a heavy heart.
Condolences,
condolences to Coop,
John Cooper and his family.
Yeah. So I'm not sure who's going to be behind the bench tonight for them, but it won't be John Cooper. So Matthews was at practice today.
Yeah. Oh, they hit him hard on the White House.
Well, let's just play the first clip. And God, don't necessarily want to do politics again because boy, I was pretty yesterday the post game. But
it has to do with the game tonight, Sammy. So don't feel overly bad here. It's a natural conversation.
I'm not equipped for this, boys. Let's just listen to how Matthews sounds the last 3 days. Matthews on the last 3 days. Clip 1.
Yeah, it's been a pretty whirlwind 72 hours to be honest. But yeah, it was incredible. It was an incredible experience from start to finish. I mean, just being able to go over there and be an Olympian and represent and be in that atmosphere and, from the village to, the games and just all the amazing things that happened over the last couple of weeks. I feel very grateful to have been a part of that. And then obviously to win a gold medal is truly very special.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he'd have success doing a word search tonight.
There was a few years ago we did this show, and I went on a 4-day bachelor party for my best buddy Keegan Patterson, and we went to Arizona. And I came back that Monday, flew a red hot. You weren't here. It was you and Brent Gunning. That's what I sounded like. I was like, yeah, the Leafs, they play the hockey. Oh, yeah, go for the Leafs. This guy, the perception of it, the PR aspect of it, I get why he has to play. And I've been on the side of it that he has to play. But listening to that is a drained individual. A drained individual.
I don't know. The people that are asking the questions, it's just like, that's good enough. You don't want to follow up with no, tell us about those 3 days.
Well,
tell us how those 3 days could possibly affect the way you play tonight. Are you worried about that?
Well,
do you think that you can do it?
Let's play the clip 3 before we do the White House one. So clip 3 I'm playing tonight.
Yeah, I think more physical than anything, just the jet lag, the time change. Obviously, the last 48 hours has been pretty crazy, but I just try to go out there and do my best. I mean, a lot of it's probably mental too, but go out there. I got a good night's rest. Get a good meal in today, and just go out there and be a professional.
That's good that he thinks it's only physical and probably a bit mental. That's the only things it is.
How about the ref coming out with one of those breathalyzer tests?
I mean, that part I don't fault him for, and that part is
he's the child. We're supposed to be the adults. to make those decisions for him.
Us?
Not us,
Oh.
but people in charge.
Thank God.
Okay? They're supposed to be the adults saying, to the earlier point, are we putting them in a position to fail or succeed here? And again, I'm not playing judge already here. The guy could score a hat trick tonight, but I'm not sure it's still the right decision, even if he does.
It's one of those, I've been around pro hockey long enough, and you have too, to know that when a guy is in his position, you're probably better off with someone significantly less effective. Like Easton Cowan is probably just champing at the bit. Give me a chance. Like, go hunt that tennis ball down like a puppy. I think you might get more out of someone like that for one night, and I think it's okay to give that to your captain. Say, bud, you've been through it here. Take a nap tonight.
My after hearing him, like when I first heard the audio, my perspective has changed a little bit here.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just me that I want them to lose tonight and that I'm wanting them to lose some games.
They're not.
Win-win-win.
The Leafs weren't worried about this Sammy. They were worried about the Sammy a day ago.
Yeah, I mean,
that said,
listen,
he better play.
Are we eligible to say we were wrong and change our minds?
I know, but they're still
I changed
worried.
my mind.
Yeah, you have, but their feeling was 60% wouldn't have changed their minds.
Mm-hmm.
They would have said, that guy better be in there.
Maybe.
He's paying $13.5 million.
Listen, those people have a point,
$30,000
too.
for a gold medal. They do, but you have to still, like I said, be an adult and still make the right decision no matter what the perception is.
But you can do that. Those people can say that, and they can run into the wall that is the team said they wouldn't let him play. He wanted to play. He's eligible. He came back. He asked to play. We're not letting him. The team can take all this off his back.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They are the adults.
Right.
And if they dodge a bullet, if he plays great and they find a way to win, then they totally come out of it. If
Tomorrow's probably tougher.
If he
I was going to
plays-
say, there's a world tonight,
if-
adrenaline flying around.
if
Tomorrow's
he's god awful, tripping over his left foot, if he happens to toe pick and crash into the boards, like
God forbid he does anything tonight. You're going to
Right.
be like, aha!
he's drunk. I told you. He was hammered.
so many of those people are ready to point a finger,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Those people.
right?
Yeah.
It's just it's not.
Or
it's so
we
far
could be
from
forgiving
perfect.
and
It's-
show him some
it's
grace.
Just
Listen,
far from
I don't have any fight left.
perfect.
In me. I don't have any fight left in me.
By the way, the grace
there's
is
no
about
fight.
the
There's no
physical
fight.
stuff,
It's
not
just
the other stuff. Let's do the other stuff. quick.
Sometimes in life, as they say, it's hard to have your cake and eat it too. Like there's got to be some give somewhere.
Yeah,
Right?
I greatly remember missing a practice once after going out and partying the night before, and our captain giving me a talk about how if you want to run with the big dogs, you can't be up pissing with the puppies in the morning.
Yeah.
You got to stay. So if you want to go out and
Yeah.
party with all those guys and be at the White House and all that, there's people are going to expect you to be there.
Totally
Answer
get
the
it.
bell. Be a big dog.
Yeah. I just think he sounds like absolute crap.
Oh, he is going to be very bad.
Did you want to do the White House one?
Yes.
I think it was Joshua Cloak. I think. I'm
Yeah,
not
we
100%
can put a
sure.
bow. We can put a bow on this.
I give Cloak. I think it's Cloak, so that's who I'm giving credit to. He give him credit. He asked the question. Clip 2, please, Derek.
Austin, you play in Canada. The president has said some troublesome things about Canada. Do you weigh that at all when you accept the invitation?
I mean, I think it's not, to me, I don't like to get political or get into that kind of stuff. I mean, like I said, we're proud Americans, and, winning a gold medal, it's been 46 years since the men's ice hockey team has done that. So, the team that wins the Stanley Cup every year accepts the White House invitation to go. So, I just think it's something that you do, because we are proud Americans, and whatever your political beliefs may be. Hopefully something like this will, hopefully bring more unity to the country and stuff like that. But, for us, we believe it's a great honor no matter who's in office.
Very much exactly what I expected him to say.
Yeah, I
Brings
think
unity to the country.
he covered it off. I mean, for me, if I was in Austin's shoes, I'd say it was a team decision, right? I'm the captain. It was a team decision to go, and I'm not bailing on my team.
As I said yesterday, I think these guys are, they grew up
Right.
in the national program as great young hockey players. They're not exactly worldly kids, and then they win this gold, and they said, "Do you want to fly in Air Force One and go to the White House?" And they're just like, "Yes." I do think some of that is, not a lot of thought goes into it, and that's not necessarily to excuse it. However, the one person that's on the hook for this is Bill Guerin. Like, Bill Guerin doesn't have to allow someone who is a divisive, very one-sided figure in there before friends and family are in the locker rooms, and all of a sudden all these guys who haven't agreed to anything, one side of the country has claimed this event is theirs, and now these kids, Matthews and the rest of them, are forced into a decision. It's all political immediately. Yeah. And he didn't have to do that to his team. He could let his team celebrate, let the whole country have their high fives. The timing with the State of the Union and everything worked against them too. Yeah. This got way more political than anyone wanted it to be, but they did it to themselves, and I think the decision Guerin made was a stupid one.
It's fair.
I think Austin's decision not to go to the State of the Union also helped him a lot too. Just getting back sooner and just trying to find at least some some calmness and separation,
I don't want to do it anymore, but I don't necessarily put him in the same category as the Canucks and other situation. I don't know.
Just Thompson's wearing the
I don't want to do it anymore.
No mega hat and that's different than what
he got back.
He's back.
He's got back in plenty of time.
Okay.
It sounds like
hockey show.
Sounds like he's ready to go here. So
hockey time.
We'll see what happens at 7 p.m. tonight on Puck Drop.
And relevant, by the way.
7:30 p.m.
Oh, 7:30. Okay.
Yeah,
Austin Matthews, you guys concerned about how he's going to play tonight? The Lightning had 8 players at the Olympics, second most of any team in the NHL. The team they play tomorrow, Florida, had the most at 10. So they're playing a couple teams who've got guys who've been through it a bit, too.
Yeah.
Don't know how many Americans, but Olympians.
Would be nice to know Kucherov was on a 3-day bender, though.
Well, I don't think because he didn't go it means he wasn't.
I mean, his 3-day bender was like a week and a half ago.
Kucherov, as of October 31st, I got some interesting stuff from our own stats department. Kucherov, October 31st, was like 60th in league scoring, and since then has just been red hot, boys. He's now 3rd in the NHL in scoring. 60th in October, 9th in November, 6th in December, 3rd as of tonight.
Wow. Also, one goal shy of tying. One goal shy of tying Steven Stamkos for 9 30-goal seasons, and 1 assist shy of becoming the first Lightning player to ever reach 700 for his career. 3rd Russian ever to reach 700 assists. If he does it, Malkin and Ovechkin are the other 2. There you go. A lot on the line for Kucherov, and he'll probably get both milestones tonight, if I were to guess.
Okay. Craig Berube picked a goalie.
Yes, that's who
Not
Kucher's
the goalie
shooting
I would
on.
have picked.
Very surprising. Anthony Stolarz.
Yeah.
Did not see that coming.
I didn't.
Genuinely shocked, actually.
You were?
Genuinely.
Okay.
My first immediate thought is that's for trade purposes.
Nothing shocks me, but
Shocked.
I'm surprised, too.
To
because
me-
I would have gone, I told you guys the other day, I would have gone Wall.
Yeah. Well, Stolarz is a 882 save percentage this year. Joseph Wall is not.
And what do you read
much,
into
much
that?
better.
Your first thought was trade?
Let's hear the justification from the coach
Okay.
before we get deeper into it. Let's play that. On clip 4, please, Derek.
I like this last game in Edmonton, and how he was trending in the right direction, and
A month ago?
just kind of want to keep that going with him, and that's obviously we need both of them here back to back, but that really was the reason, and I thought during the week in practice his practice got better and better as he went along, so it's just that's why I went with him.
That's almost like saying I really liked him last season.
Quick pop quiz. One thing that happened in that game.
But
It was Edmonton?
I couldn't even remember.
Oh, I do. Carlo hipped McDavid, and we all thought he took his knee off.
Yes.
And we were all scared because he had to play for Canada. That's all I got. I couldn't. Who scored a goal? Couldn't tell you one goal score.
That's bad.
No, it's not. It's a long time ago.
That don't make no sense.
I guess to me, it's like they are going to play both guys, so you're just picking. But then
A hunch. He's got the hunch that he had a really good practice or 2
okay,
or 3. Right?
liked his game against Edmonton. Here we go. Anthony Stolarz. He's a much better goalie than he's been this year. I would love for him to be healthy, get rolling. So, Sam, I want to say something about this like wanting the Leafs to lose or whatever.
Okay. Yep.
On what planet is it better for the Leafs that they lose ever? They got to give up their first rounder, so just win everything you can.
No, that's not true. Because we are now living in a night-to-night basis with the front office of the Toronto Maple Leafs, apparently, because they're sitting, like Kyper said in his trade board yesterday, we're in a holding pattern for some reason. If they just gotta lose, then win.
Okay, so you want them to sell.
He's right.
Yeah.
Lose the next 3 games.
0-3. Tampa, Florida, Ottawa Saturday.
Season's over.
Done.
Like you're Burger King and Whopper with grill marks all over your ass.
So then it's March 1st, and you, me, and McKee are going to come in here on March 1st and be like, welp.
Buddy,
You gotta cover this team
we
for
can
the
only
next
hope.
7 weeks.
Marley's talk.
We can only hope and they don't cancel our show.
No, because then they're going to be wheeling and dealing at the deadline.
But then after that, what are we talking about?
The new
Right?
players, all the guys are bringing in.
right.
How's Robert Thomas look with
in
Easton
all
Callan?
honesty- Okay, let me throw this. With all the craziness over, let's just say, 4 years, 5 years, do you really expect them to go 0-3? Like, again, what is the one underlining statement we've had over the years?
Whatever you expect them to do, they'll do the opposite.
Yes.
As soon as you think it's over,
right?
they're good.
Yes.
As soon
But
as you
that-
think they're great, they blow it.
But that's when they were good.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference this year than years past. And I think a lot of the trends that we got used to with this team don't really exist as much anymore, I would argue. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but you're right. Like, if they really wanted to make it as murky as possible, they'll win 3 in a row on the break. That's what would happen.
I think 2 out of 3 would still
Peak Merc.
would create
Merc off.
would create some energy going into next week.
Create some energy.
Some energy.
Oh, my
So,
God.
yeah.
Great.
Can I give you 4 stats? Games outshot this year by the Leafs, most in the NHL. Average shots against, most. Average rush chances against, most. 5-on-5 goals against, most. That's the worst in the league. In
Teams
those
they have to
categories.
pass to get the final playoff spots. Most.
So let's not win 2
Yeah.
games and go,
But-
I see it here.
Did you guys happen to read Keith Pelly's message to? I guess it went out to like just season ticket holders, but I think it's out in the media now.
I had it sent to me. Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
Would you care to read it to me? I did not see this.
Oh gosh, I don't have
You have
it.
it?
I do.
Read it to
Yeah.
me, please, Justin.
Unfortunately, with the number of key injuries that have affected this team, we are not currently in the position we had anticipated, but that is professional sports. Not long after, mind you, the CEO pointed out that the Leafs had made playoffs each of the 9 seasons, blah, blah, blah. We look forward to seeing you at Scotiabank Arena in these crucial weeks ahead as we push towards the 2026 NHL playoffs. We know that the support of our fans will achieve this ultimate goal together. While we always strive to be as open as possible, I know that you understand in the world of professional sports, protecting competitive advantages is paramount and limits our ability to reveal team strategy until the appropriate time.
That's not a man ready to pack it in, Sammy.
Fascinated
On the
by
season.
limits our ability to reveal team strategy until the appropriate time. I like the concept that there's a plan.
So,
Like that.
He's not mailing it in,
No,
and he's
sorry,
not telling
sorry.
Brad
No, it's
to
good.
mail it in.
one more
And
time.
Brad's not telling
that last line for
the players.
if you would.
I know that you understand in the world of professional sports, protecting competitive advantages is paramount and limits our ability to reveal team strategy until the appropriate time.
Oh, okay. That's a lot. So basically what they're saying is if they lose the next 3 games, we're going to trade everybody.
Yes,
The appropriate time could
Is that
be
what it is?
That's in there.
The-
that we
the-
may have to.
the appropriate time
do
may
some
be
things.
next week, but it's not now. And these games matter to us.
We're trying to win.
And if we can, that philosophy ain't changing. If they win 2 out of 3,
I just
No, I think they're going for it here.
they're going for it. Well, at least they're going for it is for the next 3 games. 3 games, boys. We're down to 3 games.
This has got to be our 10th 3-game set of the year. We've hung the season on.
so what you're creating here is like
What
I
do
don't
you
know.
mean?
Maybe I
What?
What do you mean I'm creating?
no what we're creating here.
Okay.
And
We're
talking
not,
about
we're not creating it. It's there.
that's what I mean. But like what we as a
Yes.
universe are creating here.
Yes.
With the-
Okay. All right. I get it.
Is that like do all fans feel like me? Like I don't know. People text in like are people dying for them to go for that last playoff spot? Like have
I
they
wanna see
watched?
it.
Have you watched one game this year where they've been like, yeah, this is the team. This
What
is
if Nyes is healthy
No,
and the goalie is healthy and Stolarz and they get goaltending and
This
Cowan
is
has
what
done
they're
some
doing.
squats over the break and he's fresh and back. Tavares has some jump in his step after he's been
This is exactly what they're doing, Sammy. Exactly how JB just described it.
No one's any good in the East. Matthews kind of started to find it after Christmas.
And if we get close, if we get in,
you never know.
We're the hottest team.
Goalies.
We're the hottest team at the end of the year, and we can beat Carolina.
Okay.
You're
telling me there's a chance.
So,
but that goes out the window if they go 1-2. That's fantastic planning.
So, Sammy,
fantastic.
Listen, you're not wrong.
I know.
Okay? You're not wrong on the general idea of when windows close, what direction you have to go. But they are the Toronto Maple Leafs, and their bar and mandate is different from 70 other teams that can afford to do that. They feel like they can't afford to go down that path.
You mean the number one richest team in the league can't afford to do it?
Until they are completely painted in a corner. And they're not yet. They're not.
Really stir this up?
Yes.
Is any of this related to like showing Matthews that this is a place where we're trying to win all the time? We're
100%.
Buddy, we're not a tanking team. We're trying to win.
It's all of it.
I'm just going to say the thing I said to Sam.
It's a machine, right?
It's in my head.
It's a machine.
Marner went to that Four Nations last year, and they won, and he was buddies and celebrating with those guys and in their ears, and all of a sudden he found a place he liked, made friends there. I sure hope Austin wasn't having those conversations with anyone.
I'm sure 11 nightclub, they're just talking about how great Toronto is the whole time.
Anyhow, just thought I'd throw that in the universe. It's on my mind.
It's a nice
thought. Of course.
It's a beautiful thought.
You want to, if you want to keep them, you're not punting now. You're not going to show them that you're punting now and then.
But is he an idiot? Like, does he look around with this team and be like, yeah, this is the team that's going to get me to my ultimate goal? You said the window, when the window closes. I'm not convinced the window's closed. I think with some creative general managing and you could get back to a conversation where you could win a couple playoff rounds. Who knows?
How quickly?
Within the next year or two. I do. I think if you had somebody
there's a big difference between a year or two.
Well, you have 2 years left of Austin Matthews, right? This year, next year,
let's just say
next year,
they missed the playoffs this year.
Yes.
You're saying that you can be okay to miss the playoffs next year?
No. I think with some creative general managing, which I'm not convinced
this is where you think you can have your cake and eat it too.
So you could have
Sammy.
got Sam Girard in a second for Simone Benoit, maybe.
So you don't think there's
doing some stuff?
You don't think there's a world where they're good next year? If they do some maneuvering at this deadline,
there's a world.
Of course, there's a world. You just have to be creative.
It's a tough world, and you can't miss, right? And
that's pro sports, man.
So
do good to do good.
Give me a scenario of what you're talking about, what that means. So it means trading McMahon.
Correct.
It means trading OEL.
Correct.
And it means trading Scott Lawton.
Those
are the three guys I've got.
If they traded those three guys for futures, I would be satisfied.
Depending on what they did with those futures and what they turned them into for next season.
And how quickly can you replace those?
This is the biggest aspect, is there need to be guys you see out there and say, Vegas goes, how do we get that guy? Not how do we get rid of our guy? It's a lot easier to get rid of guys. It's how do you get that guy is the question.
I'll just go back to conversations we've had and many others as well. And that was, let Marner walk. We'll have all this cap space and we'll get someone back.
Right.
And it never happened.
Yeah.
It never happened.
Because the question wasn't, how do we get that guy?
So
it's how do we get rid of this guy?
If it happened with Marner, why are you so guaranteed that you can get rid of McMahon and OEL and then replace them right away?
Because McMahon and OEL aren't Marner, but they're at the peak of their value and you could get something for them. And trade those things that you get for other things. It's trial and error.
They did it with Michelli.
Okay, and it didn't work.
Missed.
I know. But they missed. So stop. So they should stop trying, and they should give McMahon $5 million and keep Oliver Ekman-Larsson and suck next year.
No, but you may want to keep OEL and find another way.
They've been fantastic with him in the lineup.
Right? I'm just saying, it's just not that. My whole point is not whether you're right or wrong.
It's not easy. But they're paid millions of dollars.
And is Brad Treliving the guy that's going to do it for you?
I don't know. When's the last time they made a trade?
When is the last time they made a trade?
Was it Michelli? Honestly.
I'd like to.
Was it
Right?
Waugh
I know
for
Sam
Marner?
Jones
So
is
there's
not
a
good
ton
this
of
year,
questions here. There is a ton of questions, but and for the record,
Bless you.
I'm on your side.
That's nice to hear.
I'd move OEL. I'd move
You would.
Scotty
course.
Lawton, and I'd move McMahon.
Because you're a smart guy. Is
Yeah,
what,
I would
despite
do
what
it.
people say about you everywhere,
Yeah, I
you're a
would do
smart
it.
guy.
And I've told you all
I
along.
agree with Sam.
I told you guys 4 weeks ago. They're not thinking like that. And now here we are down to 3 games.
Let's go get those dubs.
Right?
Get those W's.
Before we go, fellas, I just wanted to remind you that
Kind of sarcastic. I do want them to win. I do think they make playoffs.
It's Toronto Maple Leafs.
Excuse me?
Oh my God, hold on.
I do think they can make playoffs.
It's Maple Leafs game day.
Oh, boy.
Score a Popeye's chicken sandwich for only $6. In classic or spicy, make it your new game day tradition. Get your $6 chicken sandwich at a Popeye's near you.
Okay. Are we done?
I thought I'd get that in right before commercial break.
We gotta go.
No.
We gotta go. We got
no,
a simmer coming up.
No. If they make the playoffs, I'm picking them in the first round.
Is that right? Yeah. They're going to have their deepest run yet.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
they're going to get
They're
red
going
hot.
to be
I-
so hot.
God, I'd love nothing more to sound like an idiot. But I'm
Oh,
not
Sammy,
going
you don't need the Leafs to make the playoffs to do that.
Fair enough. Just listen to the last 2 weeks.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we return, Craig Simpson, Stanley Cup champion. Always great to hear from Craig. He's got the call tonight. Tampa Bay and Toronto Maple Leafs, 7:30 Eastern on Sportsnet. More after these words. Hey, you're a co-host, man. If I'm snoozing here, just run with it.
Where I go? Well, welcome back.
Take us in. Take us in.
Oh, I have a Simmers ready in my ear, so I think we should throw to our guest. How about that, Kip? Take it away.
Craig Simpson, former National Hockey Leaguer, Stanley Cup champion, and a guy that's way more alert than I am because I'm still in Olympic snooze, Simmer. How about you, bud?
Well, hey, I feel the same. I think tonight's broadcast is going to be a microcosm of what we're going to see on the ice. You've got one guy in the booth who's on top of his game, just performed on the biggest stage in the world, and you got the other guy who's going to have to figure out how the hell to do this thing again. I don't think I've ever had 22 days off in the middle of a season.
Listen,
so it is an awfully strange feeling.
You've been around the game a long time. I'm not going to age you, but as a player and a broadcaster, is there any way that you could have a little bit more insight than the average Joe on what we could expect tonight, especially a guy like Austin Matthews, who's been, we know what he's been doing the last 3 days.
Yeah, it's such a unique situation where, it's so few players. Well, you got Jake Gensel on the other side, then Austin, the two that have, had, as he even said this morning, I was listening to you early and was down there watching him with, the last 72 hours. Well, yeah, that's the hard part about being an athlete there is, whatever you do in your personal time is your own, but it was front and center for the whole world to see. So it becomes such a hugely different dynamic tonight. And I listened to your debate back and forth whether the team should, take the onus off them not to play. I just think there's just far too much at stake. The reality of NHL players being able to take their time off of the NHL and go play in the Olympics was really important. And I think it has to go back both ways for the players themselves to be ready to play. And, it's such a unique situation because you're never going to have that kind of a 3-day lead up to a game. But the onus on the player now is, okay, you knew what was coming. You knew the situation that was there. Everyone gets excited when you get something that, it's been, so long since 46 years since the American team has won. So you understand the excitement, but I think it has to go both ways. This is one where, as an athlete, you got to find a way to dig in and find a way to play to the best of your abilities. And unfortunately, or not unfortunately, you've put yourself in that situation. The world has seen what your itinerary looked like for the last 3 days. Now I think really it is the onus to say, no, I've got to find a way to dig in and be a professional and go out and play the best game that I can. It'll be really interesting to see, though, guys, what Craig Berube does. If he sees in his player that it's just not there, will he have, I don't want to say the guts, but will he have the position to say, I can't play this guy right now? And I doubt that'll happen. I actually think Austin will do fine and find a way to play at a responsible level at least. I can't imagine he's going to be at the level that he normally does. But I think it's really unfortunate that you go through the excitement of the moment and now everybody's going to be judging, off of your actions that everyone saw. That puts a whole lot more pressure on the individual to have a game that at least can represent him, being a leader on this team.
Simmer, you were an Edmonton Oiler. You guys invented playing guilty.
I can tell you, though, I would say, I can't remember who I was saying to yesterday that, I've been fortunate enough to win 2 Stanley Cups, and I can tell you 3 days after winning those cups, I could never play a hockey game.
I know.
We'll see if Matthews
it's the truth.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy, Simmer. Like Matthews is going to lead them out there tonight. They played 57 hockey games this year. They have 19 regulation wins. They are going to make a push for the playoffs. Is there anything you saw in the first 2/3 of the season that makes you believe, hey, if the chips fall right, if everything, whatever, that they're a good enough team to get into playoffs?
Well, I listened to you talking too about the reality of the league the surprising team is the one that they're playing tonight. Having the 22 days off, all of a sudden I was looking at Tampa and going, holy cow, 19-1-1. Where did that come from a team that maybe you thought would fall off? And they did it without McDonough for times. They did it without Hedman. So I heard the talk with Toronto having the injuries. Obviously, Tanev is a big one on the back end. But they just haven't found that time to come together and play their best hockey for a long stretch. You mentioned it earlier. They had the run of, 8-0-2 in 10 games. You think, okay, that's how you get back. Last year, this Leafs team put together 12 streaks of 3+ wins. And, this year it just hasn't happened. They've got 4 of them, and there's only, 25 games left in the season. So I think that it's their inability to show the consistency night in and night out. Early on, it was couldn't win on the road, couldn't defend very well, made it very difficult for their goaltenders to find their game. And now you're looking at, okay, you've had the reset. You've got hopefully, guys getting a little healthier. Joshua's going to play tonight. You hope that Matthew Nyes, can 22 days magically get him back to being a forceful player and a guy that can be maybe of more impact than he has in the first 57. So I guess the answer is if you can find a way for 25 games to get good goaltending, better defensive play, I do think that it is such an oddity in the East this year that I know you guys were laughing. Kipper, you'd probably pick them if they got into the playoffs, but that's, I think, what their mentality has to be. But they have to show that they can put together a string. They're going to have to go, points like they did that 8-0-2. You all of a sudden put that together in the first 10 or 12 games, and you've got yourself a little bit of hope. And I know for Sammy, hope is a complicated thing in his mind because, is it realistic that they can get there? Well, they have to show in this next 2-3 weeks that they can put string a bunch of games together. You've got a 3-game winning streak going now, and I do think you have to be of the mindset you got to win 4 out of every 5 and at least see what you've got. And can you bring that consistency that has been lacking throughout the whole year?
Simmer, does it feel like it's easier today to do that because we've seen the Buffalo Sabres rip a winning streak off? I think Columbus, is on one right now, maybe 7. We talked about Tampa Bay at 6. Does it feel like maybe Brad Treliving or even Steve Staios in Ottawa can go, well, if they can do it, we can do it?
Well, I think you have to, and you have to try to search for that in your game. And that's probably been the most frustrating and surprising, throughout this first 57 games is this has been a team that's been able to put streaks together. As I mentioned last year, the same thing. And when you can't find that traction, I just think that's where you look and say, well, what are we not doing? One night, if we can't score, we go through a stretch where we're getting 2 goals a game. And then I'm looking now, 6 goals against in 3 of the last 9 games. How are you ever going to win hockey if you can't defend? And so I look at even Tampa, what they've done during this amazing streak, and Buffalo on their amazing streak. First and foremost is keep the damn puck out of the net. I mean, you have to find a way to be a much better defensive team, and that will give you the opportunity to get those kind of streaks going because, look at even Tampa guys. They've got 1 goal against in 8 of their last 12 games. And so how can you not have a chance for success in that? And that's something that's just eluded the Leafs the entire season. And quite frankly, if there is going to be any hope, it's got to be, can you string together like they have in their 3-game winning streak? There's no surprise, guys, that it's 2 goals against Vancouver, 2 goals against Calgary, 2 goals against Edmonton, and you've won 3 straight. I mean, that has to be top of mind, and I'm sure for Craig Berube, when you're trying to get the group reset for a start, it's not, okay, we got to be flashy offensively. It's, guys, we got to take care of our own and be much more predictable there, allow our goaltenders to thrive and have some success or chance at success, and our offense will follow along with it.
So we're curious to get your thoughts on Easton Cowan's situation, over the break. He didn't get sent down to the American League. Now, 2 have been eligible. He would have had to have played no more than 16 of the 20 games leading up to it and only been on the roster for 80 days. So they would have had to do some work. A couple of scratches, maybe sent down for a couple of weeks. It would have been hard to make him eligible. But that means he didn't play for the last few weeks. He hasn't played in almost a month, and they're going to healthy scratch him tonight to start. Are you surprised he's not in the lineup tonight? And how do you feel about how this season is going for the young kid?
I'm shocked, Justin. I don't quite understand it. I think it's a wasted timeline when you just allowed, what did he get scratched the last 3 before the break? And then I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for himself, both emotionally to get a little bit of a reset during that time. If I was him, physically, I'd say I got to get back, up to a stronger level. It's a great break in the season for a guy that's not accustomed to playing NHL hockey for that long of time. But I'm quite surprised by it because I look and say, you've got to make sure that this isn't a wasted year in his development. I think he's had what everybody would have expected, some ups and downs. And quite frankly, when he got pulled out of the lineup, I thought he was playing some of his best hockey there. So I'm not sure if there's an underlying, storyline there that I don't know about, but I would have thought that a nice refresh for a kid that you can maybe start to build up a little bit and say, I hope you worked out in the gym, you feel a little bit fresher, you've got the opportunity to play some big games down the stretch, and maybe you can find that he can be a real contributor. So it is a little bit of a head scratcher for me, and I will be really surprised if he doesn't play tomorrow. I would go, well, I think you got to find a way to get him playing some hockey, and that means going down and playing for the Marlies.
Simmer, looking forward to hearing from you and CC tonight. It all starts, I think, 7 o'clock, 7:30 puck drop, the pregame, all on Sportsnet. Have some fun tonight, okay, pal?
All right, it'll be good to get back in the booth. So take care, boys.
Looking forward to hearing you. Thanks.
Craig Simpson, Hockey Night in Canada, Sportsnet, right back to work tonight.
These guys are awesome. Like I said, I'm genuinely excited to get back to it here.
Okay, where do you want to go? Austin Matthews.
I'm not hearing you. Yeah.
Okay, Austin Matthews tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, physically, we're all very curious to see what that looks like, but just the pressure now on him to come back. And if there are Leaf believers out there that they can get back in this, just the weight on his shoulders right now to lead that charge. Because I thought he had a very good tournament, right? But it wasn't like he was shot out of a cannon. He was just really good to the point where I think people were talking at the end of it more about his defensive look and his Selke-like kind of defense, which was kind of reminiscent of what we saw earlier in his career.
It's like more Barkov, less, Kucherov.
But can he be like that and get the Leafs in the playoffs? Because I don't think he can.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't.
Yeah, I think
and it's okay. Austin can still win the gold medal without scoring a goal in the last 2 games, but it won't work for the Leafs to get them back into the playoff mix. That won't work.
Also, is John Tavares one of the guys that scores, or is he not, right? It was for a while, you had these 4 guys that were supposed to produce offense, and we kind of hung on and waited for that to happen when one of them didn't with the other guys. Right now, it kind of feels like it's going to be Willie or Matthews. Tavares feels like he's dropped out of that equation along with Marner going. So it's like, I guess I kind of thought Nyes would fill that void, and
part of the reason why we haven't seen Austin look so Selke is because he's got to cheat for his offense. And that's a very natural thing for all goal scorers to do. It's just a level of how many times are you on the right side of a decision? And that'll be interesting to me tonight, is how far he pushes the envelope to try to put the puck in the net as early as tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting him to push it anywhere at all. I think he's going to look fine tonight. I do. But yeah, still not hearing you, pal. You hearing him? All right.
No.
He's not saying anything good anyway, folks. You're fine. But Sam agrees with me that Tonight is maybe not like you have played guilty, I presume, time or two in your life.
Yeah, but that's only if 3 of my leaders are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it by myself.
Okay, well, I was. And sometimes, it just finds you in the right spot. You're on the ice, you're in the O zone. Sometimes it just finds you in the right spot and you shoot it in. You just have skill.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping tonight.
And it's amazing how even your own coach will be blind to how you played sometimes when you shoot it in the net. They're just like, oh, yeah, he had one. It's tough to see everything all at once. And so for Matthews, again, I think finding him would paper over a lot.
Just listening to Craig saying, I could never imagine after 3 of my days like that going to play a game. And not only just playing a game, but like 22 minutes.
Well, and Tampa Bay, Florida back to back.
I mean,
Panthers
are drying out too. They're not.
That's true.
Like they got a bunch of guys hurt. Tomorrow will be a tough test for Matthews. I think the adrenaline will go tonight, and then tomorrow night maybe it'll be a bit of a sap.
By the way, do we think the Canadians lost and then drank milk and went to bed?
Yeah. I think they
You don't think anyone had a couple of everyone meet in hotel room 16 and hang out?
No way. Too sour.
Oh yeah, they probably did, but they didn't go like them.
No,
I know.
no.
It's not even a.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have gone like them if they won.
I'm just saying. I'm guessing they probably stayed up late, had drinks, and flew across the continent, and are also going to be bad. Not as bad, but I don't think they're going to be at their finest. That's why Vegas said, "Hey, Canada, you don't have to play either."
We're going to talk Oilers when we go national with Rob Brown next. But what do we expect out of Connor McDavid moving forward in terms of just the emotional aspect to recharge your batteries now and go for the last 25 games for the Oilers?
I'm worried about him. I just mean mentally, he puts so much pressure on himself to have success. And you see today he was asked, did you think it was this hard to win?
That's a nice question. Thanks.
That's a nice question. He's
feeling it.
All right. Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay, we get going. 7:30, Sportsnet. Don't go away. Barely halfway through. On the Real Kyper and Bourne Show, we go national next. Rob Brown joins us. Shah out in Vancouver, also on the slate. More Real Kyper and Bourne after the break. All right, here we go. It's the National Hour on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet. Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. Also available Spotify and Apple Podcasts and YouTube, where we always appreciate the chat. And more importantly, a thumbs up for Sammy and JB. And if you got one for me too, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
This hour, Real Kyper and Bourne, brought to you by Bet365. Plenty to get to around the National Hockey League. We just finished our Leaf Hour edition. Let's start in Edmonton. Let's join in with Rob Brown, former NHL forward, analyst now for Ched. Brownie, how are you, my friend?
I'm very good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, you missing it at all, or you're quite comfortable? Were you on a beach? Where you been?
I was. My wife and I just spent the last 10 days in Costa Rica.
Oh.
So we actually watched 2 of Canada's games on beaches. We had our iPad out there, laid out in our lounges watching the games. So
You
it
just
was
passed
hard.
on Puerto Vallarta, huh? Good call.
So, like,
Well, it's funny. My mom's in Puerto Vallarta.
No
she
way!
was texting
Oh,
us
I'm
that
sorry to hear
morning.
that.
She's like,
Scary.
she could see the burning buses and burning taxis right outside her place. So
Golly.
yeah, so they're a little bit stressed. Took the sting of the Canada loss a little bit better for her since she had to worry about the cartel outside.
does the intensity come down a notch or two with sand between your toes?
Well, I was just as sad, except my tears went into my drink instead of down my cheeks. So it was tough. I mean, I watched both the Canadian men and women, and both games were incredible. That just had unfortunate endings. Both games, you felt good as a Canadian, thinking, all right, we got this game in the bag, and things didn't go right once we got to overtime. So I must admit, having margaritas on the beach right after the game on Sunday, it did help with the pain a little bit.
Yeah. So fascinating to watch Connor McDavid in this event.
Yeah. No, stay on Team
Well,
Canada.
no,
for a
you
second.
want to do the recent Connor stuff? You go.
No. I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask about
Yeah,
Connor in the
yeah.
event because it felt like it was watching the Oilers. He was still a one-line team. He's so much better than other hockey players. Watching Team Canada, the best we have, it still felt like, when can we get McDavid back out there?
It is funny that it shows you what level he is on, because there's nights where you see him when they, for example, Anaheim tonight or San Jose or St. Louis, or there'll be mismatches when McDavid's line will come out after an icing and they'll get the other team's third or fourth line or their third pairing, and it seems like almost unfair. And McDavid has those big nights. But you're thinking, okay, we're going against best on best. There's no weak players in the Olympics. And you just saw him continue what he does over there. And he's a special player that I've been fortunate enough to watch now for a decade. Every time you think you've seen it all, he does something else quite special. And I know there was a lot of talk that, possibly he wouldn't be dressed in the first game, if not the first 2 coming back. I don't think that's the way he's made. He understands his importance to this team. He knows where they are in the standings and who they're playing in these games. I thought there was zero chance that Connor McDavid would miss any games coming back. And from what we hear, he's playing tonight in Anaheim. And I would expect, even though there will be a drop off in the emotional level of the game, I would expect you're going to see vintage Connor McDavid tonight in a big game for the Oilers.
Is there? I know he was asked today about. I don't know if we have that clip or not, or we're going to get to it. But
You want to play it with Brownie here?
yeah. Well, let's just have a listen here, Brownie, if we've got it.
This is a hard question, but Stanley Cup's found Gretzky and Crosby and those guys and gold medals, and you've been put yourself in position, and it's not finding you. Did you think it would be this hard?
That's a nice question. Thank you.
It's funny. I'd heard it. I've had it texted to me a number of times from my buddies with some things written underneath it that I can't really say on air. I mean, is that a question either one of you guys want to answer? I mean, he just had his heart broken, absolutely heartbroken, and none through his fault. Very unfortunate. I'm like, yeah,
Is it overly surprising, Brownie? Is it overly surprising in this country, though? That question.
No, and in this market, I'm sure Toronto's very similar to the Edmonton market. I mean, it's 24/7. The expectation at the beginning of the season where the Oilers were going to win the Stanley Cup, anything else is considered a huge failure. I think most people out here expect the Oilers to go 82-0 and then walk through the playoffs as well. Yeah, so I don't think I'm surprised by it. Having said that, when I heard, and I know it's spec, and I understand what he's trying to ask, but I could see the expression and the way that Connor McDavid answered it would probably have been the same way from any other player in the National Hockey League. It's like, really? This is the question you want to talk to me about? So I expect at some point Connor McDavid is going to have a Stanley Cup above his head. I hope it's this year. But Connor McDavid is too good a hockey player not to have championships beside him. We saw in the Four Nations, now it was an exhibition tournament, but he scores the overtime winning goal. I would expect at some point he's going to do that in an Olympic game or in a Stanley Cup final game. But no, I guess I'm not surprised in an Edmonton market that would be asked.
What kind of pressure does that question put on Oiler management or Connor's response? Because ultimately, I would believe that it would push on towards management when Connor goes, "Get me some help."
Oh, there's always pressure when you got Crosby, when you had Lemieux, when you had Yeager, when you have Matthews, when you have a superstar, you only have them at their peak for a certain amount of time and in a contract. So you want to make sure you give them the best possible opportunities to win. Edmonton is like probably about 6 other franchises in the National Hockey League where they aren't hoping to make the playoffs. They're not hoping to win a division. If they don't win the Stanley Cup, they will consider it an unsuccessful year. So management understands that they've got 2 more years with Connor under contract after this year. He will be the most sought-after free agent in the history of the National Hockey League if he goes to free agency. They got his line mate and best friend, Leon Draisaitl, saddled up here for the next, 7 years still. They've got what they feel is the base. They've got what they feel is the right core group to win it. I know that there's a lot of stress in Toronto that their core never got it done. Well, the core here actually gets better at playoff time. And that's not a shot at the Toronto Maple Leafs players. That is a fact that Connor and Leon and Hyman and these guys and Bouchard get better at playoff time. So is there a stress level amongst management? Yeah, I'm sure there is, because they've got the best player in the world playing at his absolute best. They got to take advantage of it while they can.
Brownie, you saw the chirp from Tkachuk on Leon Draisaitl. I don't know if you've been doing your show this whole time and had to talk about it already, but like, did you watch that and feel like that sucked, or were you like, that's just part of hockey?
Well, I'm not sure. Chirping is part of hockey. I'm a huge fan of Canadian hockey, and I was a huge fan of the Canadian Olympic team and hope they won. But I have an utmost respect for the American players. I'm a huge fan I love Quinn Hughes and Jack Hughes and Faber and Werenski and Hellebuck. There's all those players I love watching play. I got admiration for them. But Tkachuk is one of those guys that when you see him with the Stanley Cup last couple of years, when you see the gold medal around his neck, you're like, oh, anybody but him. So the chirp it probably hurt a little bit more since it was him. And I don't know, being a Canadian hockey player and being part of the Oilers organization the last couple of years, and then Tkachuk from when he was in Calgary. Yeah, I really do hope that the Oilers in Florida play again in the finals. And I do believe the thing is with Leon is a physical force. And if he wants to run somebody through the boards, nobody can stop him. So I have a feeling that Leon Draisaitl will find a little bit of retribution at some time.
You're watching and listening to Rob Brown, former NHL forward, analyst for the Edmonton Oilers for Ched. You think there was a certain point, particularly on a 5-on-3, when Evan Bouchard said, yeah, I wouldn't have minded being out there?
Yeah, the thing is, and we get that here in Edmonton, but he wouldn't have been out there. And we know that. It was Cale Makar's power play. I don't know if it was on Cale Makar from the back end that made the mistakes on that power play. They just didn't create. Nathan McKinnon's one of my favorite players to watch, but he took a one-timer from the outside that missed the net by about 10 feet and cost them. about 10, 15 seconds, having to go back and get the puck. So the Team Canada built a team that they felt could win a gold medal. And going into the tournament, we watched the game. And not being a homer, Canada was a better team in that game. They ran into some bad puck luck, the McKinnon wide open net, and an incredible goaltending experience. I don't follow analytics. I think that my eyes can tell me what I see, but I did read the analytics. That was a 6-2 Canada win on any other night. So could Canada have picked other players? I'm sure Washington thinks that Chychrun could have been there. Winnipeg thinks Scheifele, and Edmonton, Bouchard and Hyman, and the Islanders, they got a player, Chicago, Bedard. I mean, there's so many players that could have played there. Were so deep. I think the team that was there was good enough to win the gold medal. They proved it in the final 40 minutes of that hockey game. How many games are you going to see McDavid and Celebrini both miss breakaways, and McKinnon miss a wide open net, and then Taves have it in the slot and having 2 whacks at a wide open net? And they're not going to score on a 5-on-3, and they're not going to score at a power play in the last 2 minutes of a hockey game. They played well enough. They could have won and should have won that hockey game, but goaltending's part of it. And Connor Hellebuck was all world, and I give him credit for the game. I hope, because I'm a fan of him, I hope that this changes the narrative on him in big hockey games, because there was nothing. There's no game in the rest of his life will be as important as the game that he played over in Italy, and he was the star of the show.
Absolutely. So let's move this back to the Edmonton Oilers here and talk about the move they made with Paul Coffey coming back behind the bench. You know, this is unusual. This is a very unusual scenario where the guy was, cast off the island, voted off the island, and then they're welcoming him back.
We're dumb. Please explain this to us.
Well, it's funny. We've been asked that question on our call-in shows all year long. Are they going to bring Coffey back? And we're like, there's zero chance.
None.
They're going to bring Paul Coffey back there. It just doesn't happen. But then it just continued to get more and more airplay over the last few weeks, to the point where now it's just a matter of when. I think it would be awkward the first practice or whatever coming into the coach's room. I don't have any inside information, but I don't think this is one where the coach said, okay, we got to go get Paul Coffey back. So it might have been suggested that he come back. So I think it might have been awkward at first, but I played with Koff for 3.5 years. His knowledge of the game is incredible. I don't know about him as X and O's as much as a relationship type coach. Will he make them better? Yeah, I think they will be better. But I think there's more issues on the back end with the team defense than just, hey, we need a different voice back there. So I like having him on the bench. I think that he gives them another set of eyes, Hall of Fame set of eyes. But I agree with the two of you. I found it very weird. And up until about a month ago, I would have said there was zero chance that this was going to happen.
So ultimately, if we're going to talk about a defenseman, who benefits the most for Paul Coffey going back there? Would it be Darnell Nurse?
Well, Bouchard has turned his game around. Bouchard has been excellent. So I don't think that really there's much that Koff needs to do for Bouch. Ekholm is Ekholm. Yeah, I mean, I think my mom could go coach the Oilers defense, and Ekholm's still going to be rock solid back there.
She knows
the two that I think that is Wallman and Nurse. I think the Oilers really like their top four when they're playing to their potential, and we saw that in the playoffs for the most part last year. And there has been a drop-off. Darnell Nurse has not been as good as he's capable of because I have a high bar for him. I've seen when he's excellent, and he has not been there yet. And I think Wallman's had the biggest drop-off so far. So I think that pairing is what Paul Coffey needs to get going. And then I do believe they need to bring in another defenseman. I just don't think going into the playoffs with a Stasny and Emerson and Regula is your 5, 6, 7. If one of the top four gets hurt for any extended period of time, I don't know if any of those three you have faith, because you haven't seen them in a top four position come playoff time when the games get bigger. So to answer your question, though, I think the Nurse and Wallman will benefit the most, and I think they're the ones that the Oilers need to get going here in the final 24 games.
So I know you think that there's more on the table for them than they've shown this year, that they've still got a good group. Do you expect them to be busy beyond a defenseman at the deadline?
I think they would love a third line center if they can. Someone, the right-handed guy that can win faceoffs, penalty kill. One of the problems for the Oilers is their bottom six. They got Trent Frederick, and there's a lot talk. He's got 3 points in 50 games this year. They signed him for 8 years. He doesn't play in the power play, and he doesn't penalty kill. So really, you wanted to be a third line guy, but the Oilers' third line and fourth line don't play a whole lot 5-on-5. So I think they would love to have a guy that could play, but also penalty kill, 5-on-5 and penalty kill, because there's only one power play unit here. So I do believe, and a veteran presence. They got some young players that you're still not sure of come playing Vegas, playing LA, playing one of the 3 teams of Dallas, Minnesota, or Colorado. So I think that they would like someone to play as a third line center. And to me, their biggest need though is a number 4 or 5 defenseman. I just think that they are thin with experience if they go into a playoff run and lose one of their top 4 guys for any amount of time.
Okay, I put out a trade board on sportsnet.ca. I'm going to throw a couple of right-handed D to you, and you tell me who the Oilers pick. Ristolainen, Connor Murphy, Justin Falk. Take a pick.
Connor Murphy, I think he's got, the whole Chicago and Bowman. Bowman would know him better than anybody, I would imagine. Ristolainen, I don't see enough. I know he's big and he looked fine in the Olympics, but I don't see him enough being an Eastern Conference guy. I don't know about Falk. To me, I would love a big physical defenseman or somebody with a little more size. But I do believe Falk would be an upgrade on the Oilers' back end. And if anything ever happened to Bouchard, well, now you've got a guy that you can put on the power play, guy that has run power plays throughout his career. So to me, of those 3, the one that makes the most sense might be Connor Murphy.
What are your thoughts on where Vegas is at? They got 5 guys that are not even going to play tonight as they come back from the Olympics. But there's, are they the biggest challenge once again?
Well, they will be in their division.
Yeah.
If they're all healthy and playing well. I mean, goaltending, I think, is an issue in Vegas. Yeah. Who is their star? Is it Aiden Hill? If he's healthy? I don't know if they've played as well this year as they were expected to, but I think you come a playoff series. I've seen Jack Eichel and Stone at their best when they played the year they won the Stanley Cup. Eichel is a superstar. Stone's one of my favorite players in the league. And I think Mitch Marner makes them better, gives them a legitimate second line that they can throw out against anybody that Edmonton throws out. So that will be the biggest one. I don't think they've played their best yet, but I do believe, I read today, the Oilers have 3 games left between now and the end of the season against Vegas. Those 3 games will probably dictate which one of the teams wins the division, and I'll have home ice against each other in the playoffs.
Brownie, just before we let you go, 4 points separating LA Kings to the Oilers. Like, Canadian fans don't have to worry about the Oilers making the playoffs, do we?
I hope not. I've said they've got, I mean that's my summer money I get right there. Playoff games. I honestly, and I've said this at the beginning of the season, no matter how the Oilers start, I do not believe in the Western Conference there are 8 teams better than the Oilers. So I don't believe the Oilers will miss the playoffs. But the one thing that the Oilers do not want to do, or any team does not want to be the second wild card team. You do not want to go to the division of death with Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota. You want to stay in a grouping that has an Anaheim or a San Jose or a Seattle or an LA team that just lost a good player. So I believe the Oilers in Vegas will be 1-2 at season's end in the division. But the Oilers do have some work to do, and it starts tonight against Anaheim.
Let's hope for a big win, and you keep that summer money going. Thanks, Brownie.
All right, guys. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate your time.
Rob Brown.
All right. See you later.
Former National Hockey Leaguer, does a great job covering the Edmonton Oilers. He made a real interesting point about just how do you get in now and who do you face?
Mm-hmm. You worried about the Oilers?
You are worried about
I'm worried about every Canadian team right now. I got to be honest with you. Nothing is.
I saw that
nothing's
Habs
a sure
lineup.
thing.
I think in the East, the Habs they got a good lineup.
Habs are good.
As
Do
long
they
as
need
they
a
get,
goalie?
I was gonna say, as long as they get a few saves, they'll be fine.
Yeah, and they should. The Binnington thing is like the solution to everyone's problem. As we were doing that block, I was like, Vegas could get Binnington. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, they're good for a couple of teams. Edmonton could probably use him. He could help a few teams. Montreal.
There's not a chance, I think, Edmonton
goes
to calls a last minute audible on Jari.
Carolina.
So we played it for Brownie there, that clip. We didn't really talk. We did, got his thoughts on it. What did you guys think of it?
I think pretty much what we thought at the beginning of the season. Oilers are on the clock for Connor McDavid.
How is that related to him being asked that question?
It's just the buildup, the stress, the constant feeling like,
he's not a guy who runs from that.
Do I have enough? Well, he won't run from it.
But
it's a factor into his reaction, right? And I think it puts tremendous stress on not only Connor, but Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson and the whole crew, man. They're feeling it. They're all feeling what Connor feels. Like we should have a cup by now.
Yeah.
And we got to deliver one now.
You need to see some creativity. Like, guys get traded. Guys are finding their way around the league in some deals. They need a little backup because Brownie's right that Emberson, Stastny, Regula as 5, 6, 7 doesn't win cups. I've watched the league for a while. That's not a common 5, 6, 7 that wins.
They need a big, strong right shot defenseman who shuts guys down, wears 25, plays for the Leafs. First round pick coming back. Got to have it.
Putting weight on my shoulders.
No joke.
Yeah.
Putting weight on my shoulders every night doesn't work anymore. Or it never worked. Maybe it never worked.
Mm-hmm.
So.
God, it worked. I mean, you can't win 15 playoff games and say, oh, we were totally
work for
off.
Stanley Cup.
No, I get that.
Didn't work.
I don't know if I want to do this. I just hate seeing all the stuff about him losing. I'm seeing TikTok things now about him losing.
Oh, the bridesmaids.
Well, yeah, him losing in Erie in the final. Like it's coming up, losing in 2 back-to-back finals, losing to the. Like I don't want the captain of Canada to have the reputation as the guy that can't win the big one. It concerns me.
He's feeling it.
And it's like,
and you're feeling it, and the Oiler fans are feeling it.
It's not the start of his career.
No.
And I know he's got a long time left. I know he's one of the better players. But you don't get a ton of kicks.
We've just got a lifetime of watching Max Talbot score the game winner and Pat Maroon get the Blues through Dallas, or the Oilers are allowed to have someone else score a goal too. So I understand the pressure, and I
like
understand
Matthias Janmark in Game 7 the first year they played.
There
like
you
that.
go. Yeah.
And then Connor McDavid having the puck sit at the top of the crease and not tuck it home. Game 7.
I remember that.
Oh, I do.
But they're allowed to score a couple.
Yeah.
He needs a little help.
I worry for him. Like we're officially at the point where like you always talk.
Well, he's there too.
Obviously. Yeah, but I think a lot of people in Canada, I think it's really the Olympics and coming off the Olympics and having the last two. You don't want him to become a sympathetic figure. You don't want people to be like, I feel for him. I worry about him. You don't want that. I don't think he's
supposed to be, I am the danger.
Exactly. He's supposed to be you don't want other people to look at him and be like, oh, we beat him every time. Yeah. He's supposed to be the guy. That's what, Sid was always the guy that won, except the first year they went to the final, they lost. When he was a kid, they go back the next year, they beat the same team, and he won 2 more, won gold medals, won everything.
Marc-Andre Fleury punted more playoff series away than people remember it.
100%, but he won 3 cups. Yeah. It's just not getting late, but.
We,
no longer early.
It's no longer early.
In the first block, we were talking about the Leafs' next 3 games, but they got Anaheim tonight, and then they go right back to LA tomorrow night, and then San Jose on the weekend. And you're like, maybe we'll know a lot more about the Oilers after the next 3 games.
Yeah, do they win all 3? Yeah,
well,
that'd be tough.
That'll be, going 3-0 would be forever. Right there again, right back.
Anaheim send anyone to the Olympics? Who do they have? Lacombe, but he didn't play.
The Swede. Did he play? The superstar for the Ducks that none of us can remember his name. Don't look at me like that. The guy that was drafted.
Carlson?
Yes. Did he play?
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. Game time?
Game time.
It's game time. Presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and see why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. 8 games. 8 NHL hockey games on tap tonight. Starting in New Jersey. The Buffalo Sabres, they're looking to continue their playoff push.
Jack Hughes expected to play.
He'll be getting that. Oh, God, that's another
Do we have a sound? Does he sound better than Austin?
No, he sounds like this.
Another aspect of this is just us having to watch all the videos of all of them getting celebrated at their home barns for another week. That's going to be fun, too. So we're going to live through that. It's got to weather the storm here. But the Buffalo Sabres, minus 110 on the money line against the New Jersey Devils, who are minus 110 as well. That is Bet365 being like, we have no idea what to expect in that game. Stars of both teams been hammered for 3 weeks. For 3 days. We don't know. Washington in hosting the Flyers. They're looking to continue their playoff push. Later on, you mentioned that the Vegas Golden Knights are playing nobody tonight. Mm-hmm. They're big underdogs in Los Angeles. Plus 140 on the money line. LA Kings minus 165. As I click on that game, looking at it quickly, give me a Panarin anytime goal tonight in his debut. Playing for the Kings.
I hate them losing Fiala, man.
It sucks. Plus 180 for a Panarin anytime goal. Forgot that he was playing for the Kings until I saw the headline on Sportsnet.ca today. Anyways, that was game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and see why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Panarin bought the mascot Bailey a watch because he's wearing his number 72 or something like that.
What?
72.
Yeah.
What number did he wear in? This is the uninformed hour. What number did he wear in?
That's 10, I think.
10. Yeah, right. No, that's right. No, that's right. He wore 10.
Well, he bought Bailey's number.
You know what's crazy is I can remember like guys I played in midget who shot left or right. I can't remember any numbers.
No, oh really?
Yeah.
You got number blindness.
I got number blindness.
I got handedness blindness.
I think Artemi Panarin wore 72 maybe in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we definitely know that answer since we didn't know where he just played the last 8 years.
We didn't know who Leo Carlson was.
Yeah. I didn't know what.
So he got him like a Mickey Mouse watch?
No, he bought him a watch.
Please,
we just got paid 11 sheets.
Don't tell me it's a Rolex.
To be honest, I watched the video of it happening and I didn't get in on the brand, but it was a nice watch.
Artemi Panarin did, in fact, wear number 72 in Chicago.
Okay, but
not in
the Rangers.
I guess 72 is retired in New York.
It's our first time watching the NHL.
I have no idea what happens in the league.
All right, well,
let's go to break. Talk to Sat.
All right, covering the Oilers, check. Now we go to Vancouver. Let's go out west. Shah, host of Canucks Central. Canucks game host for Sportsnet, will join us next on the possibilities of Petey Pettersson moving before the deadline, March 6th. That when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. As a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. All right, let's go out to Vancouver. Shah joins us, host of Canucks Central, Canucks game host for Sportsnet, regular contributor every once in a while. Sat, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We are good. What's it like now out in Vancouver with roughly 25 games to go and knowing that there's a trade deadline? Does everybody expect a fire sale, like 6-8 guys gone by next week? What's the vibe out there?
Yeah, the deadline is obviously the biggest topic of conversation right now for Canucks fans. I mean, to some extent, there's dread about watching the games, especially coming off the intensity of the Olympics and how high the level of hockey was. And of course, the Canucks sitting here at 32nd, the level hasn't been anywhere near the Olympics, let alone the high end of the National Hockey League. So there is some dread and trepidation, but the deadline is what people are most excited about. The expectation is the Canucks do end up moving, their three, somewhat notable UFAs, Evander Kane, Teddy Bluger, and perhaps David Kampf. And the big question is going to be, do they end up moving somebody with term? You allude to, could it be 4, 5, 6 players? If it gets to that point, we're looking at guys like Jake DeBrusk, Brock Besser, Connor Garland, perhaps even Elias Pettersson. I think that's what people are mostly anticipating now between now and the March 6th trade deadline.
How has the evolution of the season gone for fans when the start of the year, I don't know exactly the goal, but I'm guessing playoffs were the goal. And now it's like Gavin McKenna. Like, is there now open excitement, even though it's still February, about the first overall pick?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what, everybody wants to see as perhaps Gavin McKenna or even Ivar Stenberg. And I think those are the two guys Canucks fans are mostly kind of looking at. And obviously, Gavin McKenna coming off that 10-point week in the 8-point game. And there's been a lot of discussion about him defending his mother as well with that scuffle that happened, and the charges have been reduced, which I think has also kind of quelled some of the concern a lot of fans had on that day. And they wondered, well, if the Canucks do have the first or second overall pick, would they go and actually draft Gavin McKenna with the legal situation hanging over his head? And that, not that it's been resolved, but it has been lessened in terms of, how serious those charges were. But the way he's played has really captured the imagination of fans, because we look at guys like Macklin Celebrini, we look at Connor Bedard, and even though San Jose is obviously closer, I think, right now to a playoff spot than the Chicago Blackhawks are, but they have tangible hope and belief because you have two franchise-altering players, one for each team, that fans can really dig their teeth into and say, you know what, we might not be good for a few years, but at least we have a cornerstone player. And I think the way Gavin McKenna has played recently has really captured the imagination of fans. Like, we were having a discussion about it yesterday, and the vast majority of texts coming in during the show where you got to take McKenna. If you have the first overall pick, you have to get him. And the other part of it is he's a Canadian talent, and the Canucks haven't had a high-level superstar Canadian in quite some time. You got to go back to guys like Todd Bertuzzi, Ed Jovanovski, that played at that Olympic level. Of course, Bo Horvat made Team Canada, but he wasn't at that level when he was with the Vancouver Canucks. But having a Canadian franchise-defining player is what a lot of Canucks fans are super excited about, the potential of that happening. Now, I will say, guys, I mean, how angst-ridden Vancouver can be on a good day.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of hope that they can get the first or second overall pick. They're already blaming Gary Bettman, saying he'll never give them top 2 pick, but that's the biggest thing. If they can land one of those 2 top picks, Gavin McKenna seems to be the prize in many people's eyes.
Sat, I put out a trade board, which I do regularly now on sportsnet.ca, and I do have Pettersson out there. It just seems to me overall that there just doesn't seem to be a long future here, and certainly I could be wrong here, but where is it in your mind, the situation with Pettersson and possibly still having him around to lead this rebuild, however long it takes, 2, 3, 4 years?
Yeah, I think you're spot on about that being, at the very least, an internal conversation about, is this a guy we want to build around? And number two, if we're trying to build a new culture and have new standard bearers for the next generation of Canuck players, is he the right guy to have as your highest paid player? I think that's a very fair question to ask. And it's just amazing to me that we're sitting in this spot, guys. Like, I was on your show before the season started, and I remember saying, I refuse to believe that a guy of Elias Pettersson's talent that had a 100-point season, won the Calder Trophy, was putting up numbers that some of the best players ever put up in the first few years in the National Hockey League, just kind of forgot to play at that level. And yet we're sitting here and now I have to be forced with that reality and believe that maybe he's not going to find that level again. And I think a lot of it comes down to, at least we heard last year from the organization standpoint, and Rick Tocchet spoke a lot about, he needs to have a better offseason, needs to work harder. And by all accounts, he had a better offseason. But is he still putting in the type of work that a player of his caliber should be putting in? We talk about guys like Celebrini, for instance, coming up, and he's young, but we know how hard he works. We've heard stories about how, guys like Nathan McKinnon want to work out with him in the offseason, and anybody who comes across his path is just so impressed about how locked in he is and how hard he works. And those are some of the things we were saying about Pettersson his first few years, and now those things are being questioned. And unless he had, and we're back to the same conversation we had last year. I don't see him finding that level during the year anymore. I think that ship has sailed, and we saw it at the Olympics. He was fine. Like, he's been fine, right? It's not like he's been a horrible player. He's playing like a second line center. But when you're making 11.6 million, the expectation is for you to be far greater than that. So if the organization could find a deal that would be beneficial, I do think they would seriously consider it by the March 6th deadline. The number is really big on his contract. Maybe it's something that works out more in the offseason than the regular season because of how much money he's owed on that deal. It might be harder to do with how things are set up during the season. But I do believe the organization would seriously consider, and I think you're bang on, Kipper, to have Pettersson on that draft board, because if we're sitting here and wondering, is this guy willing to put in the work that's necessary, or he has to put even more work in, is that somebody they want to be moving forward with? And considering the failures of this core, he was part of the JT Miller fiasco, him not being able to get along with him. We look at how this franchise hasn't been able to take off, and all these core players who've been traded and they've had their play diminished. He's a big part of that. And if you want to have a clean slate moving forward and usher in a new era, can you have a big part of that failure on that squad moving forward? And I think that's a big question the organization is grappling with.
Do you think if the assets were there or could improve, they would actually eat some of the money on his deal?
I mean, so right now, I think the message has been they don't want to do that. I guess everybody has a price. If somebody's willing to pony up enough of a return, perhaps that would happen. But then here's the question. If Pettersson, if a team is reluctant to take him on at 11.6 million, are they truly going to put together the types of assets necessary for Vancouver to say, okay, we'll eat 2 million per season on this contract, and that would mean an extra first-round pick? Is somebody giving up 2 firsts and a good prospects and a decent player for the Canucks to do that? That's where I'm not 100% sold on the Canucks being able to get what they want in return to eat that money. But I think you're right. I think a lot of teams are looking at Pettersson and saying the same things that we've been saying. Maybe he's a second line center. If he's a second line center, he's still good, but I can't justify paying that guy 11.6 and also forking over a first round pick and a decent prospect and a roster player to make that deal happen. So that's where maybe the offseason, a team may look at it and say, maybe we're not giving you as much, but we'll take the whole money back. It's harder to do during the season. But I'm not sure if a team is willing to pay the price the Canucks would want for them to eat that money to make that deal.
So what does success look like for the rest of the season? I know if you're a Canucks fan, you're just yelling, lose, but that's not really the perfect execution from here to the end, is it?
No, I mean, it is in some ways, to your point. I mean, you have the best shot at getting the first overall pick, and I think that would give a lot of fans some comfort in knowing that at the very least they have the best chances and they're guaranteed a top 3 draft pick. But I do think you need to see some tangible growth from some of these younger players. The veterans, I think it's pretty clear what they are and what they may not be. But for instance, Zeev Buium, and we were talking about this on the show yesterday to some extent. He's looked really good since coming over via trade, but he hasn't really blown anybody out of the water quite yet. And that's a hard expectation for a rookie defenseman. There's some ups and downs, but can he take command of being the first power play quarterback on the first unit? If he can do things like that, you can see him, progress a bit more, be a bit more confident on the power play, execute a bit better, and show the potential to be a true power play 1 quarterback. Then could that perhaps better inform what you might be looking to do in case of a tie at the draft? And what I mean by that is, let's say the Canucks have the 3rd overall pick or the 2nd overall pick, and they feel like Keaton Verhoff is as good as whoever's number 2 or number 3. If you feel like Zeev can be the first unit power play guy, you feel really confident about the leaps that he might take and how good he looked over the final stretch of the season, do you then go and draft the wing or the forward that you might be looking for? And I think what I would want to see is for those guys, Villander and Zeev Buium, to show a bit more to say, okay, we feel like we have our defense at the very least figured out for now, and let's focus in on getting, the best forward we can in the draft. And obviously, you always have to take BPA, but I'm talking more about in case of a tie and you're looking at Verhoff versus another forward, can you feel confident in Zeev and Villander that you have that covered, that you can go and draft the forward instead? And when it comes to younger forwards, can you show that by the end of the season that you can handle playing third line minutes? Can you handle perhaps being on the second unit power play? I think those are the tangible markers we're looking for from the younger players over the final 25 games.
You're watching and listening to Sat Shah, host of Canucks Central, game host for Sportsnet. Sat, when Jimmy Rutherford arrived in Vancouver, it was with the reputation that he could win, and he can actually win fairly quickly. Where the Vancouver Canucks are today and where perhaps Jimmy is, with his age, I mean, are they still aligned here moving forward?
Well, I don't think they have much of a choice in terms of where they're headed. I mean, a few years ago, you could say you're trying to win in short order, and they almost did, right? And perhaps they weren't as good as they were 2 years ago when they pushed Edmonton to 7 games, but they're certainly better than what they've shown the past couple of years. And that has fully caved in on them. I don't think there's a pathway right now, realistically speaking, guys, that you turn this around in 2 years. It's just, you don't have any superstar players currently. Whoever you draft, it takes a couple of years. And, as good as Celebrini and Bedard are, you see it's still evident those teams need more for them to push into being day-to-day contenders or even, surefire playoff teams. So I don't see a realistic pathway here that these guys can contend at that level. And I think that's why you've heard the messaging be different. And as much as Rutherford has been reluctant to say this might take 3 to 4 to 5 years, he has admitted it is a rebuild. But if you're trying to win in a hurry, considering where the Canucks find themselves right now, I don't think that's a realistic path forward. So I think as reluctant as Rutherford may be to admit it publicly, or perhaps even to himself, I do think they understand that you can't expedite the situation you find yourself in now. Perhaps if you hit on draft picks, perhaps if you pull up a couple of good trades, it can be a 3-year path instead of a 5-year path. And I think that's being optimistic about it. But there's no way, guys, that you go from being 32nd, not having a single superstar player after trading Quinn Hughes, and you're expecting to be a contender in 2 years. And I would imagine for a guy of Jim Rutherford's acumen and experience in the National Hockey League, that he would understand that reality.
Zach, great job on the Vancouver Canuck update for us, man. Really appreciate your time.
Hey, anytime, gentlemen. And hopefully
thanks,
more Canadian teams. Yeah, you got it, guys. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Sat Shah, Canuck Central.
Yeah, boy, what a pivot things have undergone.
What would you do with Pettersson?
Trade him.
Yeah, trade him.
Boy. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think he's interesting. When Sat said, some teams might think he's a second line center. You still pay quite a bit to get a second line center. Now, I understand he's expensive as a second line center. Do you think there's more there? Is he going to find it, or is this like a Patrick Laine thing where it's just going to get well? Laine scored 44 and 36. I think his first 2 years in the league.
It's shocking. For me personally, Patrick Laine, the drop. Now there's health issues, and I know he had some
mental health stuff as well.
Mental health issues, but like he was on a trajectory as one of the best goal scorers in the history of our game.
Yeah. And he is healthy scratch tonight. The Canadians are back.
The Pettersson thing, to me, just if we're going to quickly finish off on it, I do think a change of scenery I think he's like one of the ultimate change of scenery candidates.
He is the prime Carolina Hurricane. He's going to be much quieter media market.
I have a belief that Detroit thinks that they could squeeze more out of him and their success rate with Swedish players.
Lucas Raymond waiting there for him to play with.
Hank Zetterberg.
Oh, yeah. Nick Lidstrom.
I think I've heard of those two guys.
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah, that's an interesting one. For the Canucks, do you want to trade them for nothing, though? This
Oh, no. I'm going to get my first and my prospect, and I hope another significant piece. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, keep an eye on that.
Just want to just kind of go back to this Connor McDavid thing, because we went to the break, and then you go to your phone a little bit, and it's starting to run a little bit.
Every fifth tweet is the video.
So I'm just wondering now here that we shouldn't have been overly surprised of the question Mark Spector asked. I mean, some people think it was a bad question for sure, or it put him in a tough situation. Others can think it's totally fair. And I could sit there on one hand and listen to people say, hey, you want to make 13 or 14 million bucks, and you answer the question, toughen up, or grow a set, or whatever you want to say. And then there's the other side that says to me is like, what are we doing here? Should Canadian teams start being concerned that, like, who's going to want to come up and play here?
You know, I've seen a lot of the stuff you've seen. People really don't like the question. It's interesting because a lot of conversations that people are having about Connor McDavid, and I've tweeted about it, are that now it's like, oh man, he keeps falling short in the big one. He can't win the big one. This is like Sam talked about it.
It's a thing.
First half. So it is in the conversation. And so to ask the man about it himself, I think if Spec was on our show, he'd say, you guys want people to ask the hard questions, or do you want softballs? I think he would defend himself about that question.
And I totally understand that.
I do too.
But
I'm not saying that it's still kind of
now turning them into a meme.
You kind of set them up there, right? And I don't know. Do you just give them the token answer and say, like, we're trying our best, and I got to go earn a Stanley Cup with my teammates, and that's the way it works, and we're trying our best.
Or is there a way to go about that? Like, given that it is not just a hard question, but one that he can't really answer.
But in Mark's mind, though, like in his defense, goes in there, asks all the hard questions all the time. And in his mind, if he didn't ask that, he probably thinks he's not being journalistic, right?
But I'm saying, is there a way to get an answer on the topic that people are talking about
without being that blunt?
Correct.
Maybe not.
Is there a way to work this sort of?
So we know how
probably
it works
there
now.
is.
So whether it's Connor at an All-Star weekend, or recently in the Olympics, or this summer at a golf tournament, where a lot of his peers are going, why do you want to play up there? Like, they're brutal up there. And it goes back to the whole Toronto thing that we just heard through the Olympics, is like, it's a Toronto thing. And we had Gord Stellick on our show the other day saying, oh, boo-hoo, you're blaming us on the media side. And it's like, I get all of that. But at the end of the day, if we got these great star players fed up to here with it, and free agency's around the corner, and they're like, yeah, I'll pull a Mitch Marner, man.
That's an interesting question that you're steering towards. Is there some onus on the media to make life enjoyable for their subjects? To not ask the hard questions, so it's a fun place to play for the good of the team?
I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong. I'm just saying this is how it leads to guys going,
sure.
Who needs it?
But what it is, what you're talking about, this is paying attention. You know, Speck's aware of the greater context of his career and what it means to legacies. They're paying attention. You know, maybe in Carolina, or not to disparage Carolina, but it's not a hockey market.
No. You're not sitting under the hot lights,
you know,
answering questions in Carolina or Columbus.
More grateful to have the superstar and watch the superstar. You know, and I get why that's more appealing too. So, you know, I feel for Connor, and maybe the first day here is not the time, because that question is evergreen. You can ask that on a day he's in a good mood, on a one-on-one sit down later. That question is relevant later too.
Kind of picking at a scab there.
Yeah, maybe today's not the day, but I get why you're bringing it to him.
It takes an athlete to sit there and go, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying, and you can ask me these questions, and I'll find a way to answer them without punching you in the face.
But I mean, like, maybe he wants to. He's going to leave. I mean, he's been there for. He's given him lots of chances.
He's had.
Yeah, it's not the first one. It's like the last.
Why do you sign a 2-year deal?
Well, yeah, but he signed an 8-year deal before that. It's not like he hasn't given them any chances.
Yeah, once you're decade plus in.
Yeah.
No.
no longer on
Like
the
if he packs up and leaves in a couple of years,
But I'm not going to be
one's
like,
gonna
oh,
turn
it's
around
because
and
it's
say
because it's Canada.
you didn't give
It's
him a
because
chance.
He played 11 years in one place and never won
And he
anything. He's supposed to be
couldn't
the best player of all time. I don't think be like, oh, Canada's the problem.
Right.
Anyways, that's my thoughts.
Sid out 4 weeks. Close to playing, though.
I believe both of those things can be true.
You do?
I do. I think that he could need 4 weeks to do the right thing. And I also think that they said we can put a brace on it, we can shoot it up, we can blah, 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 and we can get you out there and try to play 6 minutes. I think both those things are possible.
I think it's going to be a real interesting trade deadline for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I think they're going for it, right? With long-term players like Gerard, guys, not just one-year guys, but
Their playoff spot may be up for grabs, I'm going to say.
for the
thanks.
Leafs, the Sannies.
Oh, no.
Our thanks to Satiar from Vancouver, Rob Brown from Edmonton,
Simmer
Craig Simpson
in Tampa.
in our first hour. 8 NHL games tonight.
Thank God.
Thank God is right.
Drop the puck.
On Sportsnet, Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning, 7:30 Eastern puck drop. All right. We're all good.
Let's go. Go home. It's time. Say bye.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you get a chance, give us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you. Enjoy the games tonight.